Bert Oliva's Mastermind Circle.
Welcome back to another Mastermind Circle session. I'm really excited about today's session. I'm always excited about every single session. However, there's a couple things I want to talk to you about. First of all, I want to welcome all the new people that are logged in, all the new members, and all the guests, all the special guests that we have. People have invited other people to the session today. So a couple of things I want to bring up. Number one, members, remember, you have access to all the replays. You can also log in by calling in, so you don't have to be in front of a computer. You can just call in from the phone and just wait till you get to whatever it is you're going, and then you can log in. Or when you're done, if you really like the session, you can actually go back and look at the replay. So for those of you that are new, my name is Bert Oliva. I've been doing seminars for over 22 years now at a professional level. And normally what we do here at Mastermind is we actually show you a brief presentation that's going to tell you a little bit more about what we do, who we are, and what Mastermind is all about. So if you guys are ready, this is an interactive webinar. We want to know that you guys are here, are ready to participate. So I want to make sure whoever is here, there's a little button on the bottom that says raise your hand. So raise your hand to make sure if you guys want me to keep going. There we go. Beautiful. The other thing is that when I do the session, because we have interviews, we have sessions, and we have stories. Today we're going to have a session and a story. So if there's any questions that you want to ask regarding the session or the interview, you have several ways of doing this. You can go ahead and press the Q&A button on the bottom and then ask Valerie, who's the producer running the show. She's really the one that's making it happen. So you ask Valerie, I want to go live. And if you don't want to be seen live, you can actually just come in with your voice and we can hear you. Or if not, you could do an anonymous question. But questions are really important because you get to find out more. And a lot of times when I go to webinars and I attend webinars, one of the things I don't like is pre-recorded webinars. That, you know, sometimes you have to do it, but for the part, really, I don't like them because there's no participation with the audience. And here, Mastermind is all about participating, getting involved. So here we go.
Bert Oliva is an international orator. He speaks around the world about his experiences and teaches humanology, the scientific study of human potential. He has enchanted audiences all over the world, showing them the power of mind over matter.
He's one of the most talented speakers out here, and I highly recommend him to any type of.
The more prepared you are, the luckier you'll be.
He is the world-renowned authority on leadership and human behavior.
Mr. Bert Oliva.
Bert Oliva!
He's considered the voice of inspiration and motivation. Today he'll pass his knowledge on to all of us.
For over 2 decades, Bert Oliva has touched the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. Bert has a dedicated social media following and an impressive online influence few possess, enabling him to communicate with audiences he has touched near and far.
I think he's one of the greatest motivators out there.
The thing I love about Bert is he's on stage and he gives his heart every single time.
He has developed many programs, recorded audio CDs, and written books, all of which to help those ranging from individuals to corporate and Fortune 500 companies. He has dedicated his life to speaking all over the globe and met some of the most influential and powerful people in the world.
Okay, let's go.
He has also coached highly successful business executives and politicians.
Normally seen as impossible.
I believed it and I did it.
An infectious motivator.
So get ready to learn tools that will help you tap into your potential.
Pay attention, this is real stuff.
Get ready to have an experience you won't soon forget. Please help me welcome Bert Oliva.
Today's topic is about 7 things to quit right now. These are 7 things that you should consider in quitting right now. Here we go. Let me see. Next slide. Do you underestimate yourself? I really want you to ask your question. Do you really underestimate yourself as a person? And, you know, just imagine that you and I are having a one-on-one session, and I ask you this question, and I want you to be just as honest as you can be with yourself. And this is really important because a lot of times I truly believe all of us, even myself at times, and some people do it more than others, we underestimate the power that we have. And this is what I want to talk about today. So you guys are with me? Raise your hands if you guys are with me. There we go. So first thing is underestimating is basically there's 7 things you should do. you should stop doing to underestimate yourself. And one of the things is trying to please everyone. Number one, and they're not in any order, but this is really an important one. Stop trying to please the world. You'll never be able to do that. I've done this for over 22 years, and sometimes people love me, and then they love to hate me. So, you're not going to please everyone. So you got to start with being true to yourself, who you are as an individual, and what your belief system is. Once you have that certainty of who you are, and you start believing in yourself, other people will follow. And those that don't, it's okay. Because if you spend too much time trying to please the world, not only will you ever be able to do it, but you won't even be happy yourself. Number two, fearing change. That's the one inevitable thing that's happening in our life. Change is constant. So you need to realize or find a way to embrace it. In fact, if you want to grow and you want to evolve in your life, you got to be able to accept change. Change is important. In fact, one of the quotes that I use all the time is change doesn't happen overnight, it happens over time. However, sometimes things happen in your life and the change is immediately. And are you ready for it? Most of the times we're not. Things happen. Now, the thing is, are you going to go ahead and fear it because change is coming and things are not like the norm and they're not in that same cycle that I'm used to doing? If you want to excel and you want to expand in your life, you got to embrace change and not fear it. Remember, fear, false expectations appearing real. I learned that from one of my mentors and friends, Les Brown. And we usually do that to ourselves. We create and fabricate this whole thing about fear and change. Change is good. Even though something negative happens in an immediate transaction or an event that creates a massive change, if you look for the positive, I guarantee you it's there. In fact, sometimes in our lives, when there's a change happening, and sometimes that change happens over and over again, the reason is because there's a lesson for us to learn. And until we don't learn it, we're going to repeat it until you finally get it. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Raise your hands. Let's go over number three. Number three, stop living in the past. The word present in English and Spanish means the same thing. People live en el presente, and people should live in the present, which means a gift. God gave us the best gift in the world, this moment right now. For example, if you're here with me right now, are you really here? Or are you worried about your bills or what you have to do tomorrow or who I need to call or what? Then you're not living the present. Start living life in little moments of the now, and you will start seeing yourself succeeding a little bit more every day. Learn how to live in the present, not the future, because it hasn't happened yet, and not the past, because it already happened. Now, I want you to learn from your past, but live in the now. You guys got it? If you're with me, raise your hands. All right, guys, here we go. Number four, stop putting yourself down. That negative talk. There was a movie I saw years ago. I forgot the name of the movie, but it was about this guy that had a little angel and then the little devil. And then, the angel told him to do something and the devil said, don't do it. Well, we go through life all the time. We have the internal dialogue with ourselves. And what I want you to understand is increase the volume, the decibels, like a radio. You increase the decibels on something that's positive and tone down or tune out the negative. Because negative self-talk will destroy you. It will hinder you from you growing and excelling. Believe it or not, he's even worse than someone else telling you negative things. Even though you avoid negative people, at the end of the day, you're the biggest person remember, the most important person in the world is you. And you spend the most time with that person. So if that person is really negative, no matter if you change the circle of friends that you have, you're still attached to that negative person. So start working on your internal dialogue. Start working on the words that you use and start working on your self-talk. At first, it's a little difficult, but it's like everything in life, when you take that first step, the second one becomes easier. And when you start realizing that, maybe it isn't that bad. Maybe there's something I need to learn from this, and you start shutting out. First of all, you turn it down, then you shut it out. You don't want that negative thought. And you'll start seeing that your life will start changing right in front of you. The power of the mind is amazing. However, some people choose not to use it. It's easier to blame the world than to blame yourself. So if you're having negative talk, and by the way, not all these things may apply to you. Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 4, 6. If there's 7, then you need to call me. We need to be coaching. But if whichever ones do apply to you, work on those. And as you start, addressing those, then maybe another one will pop in. And that's what life is all about. Look, this place you're going, this thing called self-help, this empowerment journey, spiritual, emotional, knowledgeable, whatever it is that you are going after, it's for the rest of your life. So you need to evolve. As you grow, your problems will grow. As you grow, your challenges will grow. However, what's challenging you for you today is nowhere near what was challenging you before because you handle it different. So again, negative talk, at one time it was really loud, and then eventually it just starts tuning out. And then some people will tell you, when you got it right, when people start telling you, man, you're always so positive. And it's not you're positive, it's that you've chosen to be positive. We all have that power, but however, it starts with you. Number 5, overthinking. Stop overthinking things. We do it a lot. What if this doesn't happen? Again, living in the future. What about if this happens and it happens this way? Don't overthink it. Just embrace it. And if it doesn't go as planned, then there's something for you to learn. See, Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite quotes that I learned from was, when you decide to change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Let's go. I mean, I'm a little fast on that one, but when you decide to change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So what may be overwhelming for you today may not be overwhelming for you tomorrow. So stop overthinking things. Stop overprocessing things. Stop trying to be a perfectionist. Even though I'm one of those, I like my things to be done correctly. But I've learned throughout the years that, or maybe my age, the older I get, the more I let things pass, because you put in so much time in doing things right that things never get done. Does that make sense? If some of you have ever gone through that, raise your hand just to make sure you're with me. And remember, if you've ever gone through certain things like that you overthink things and then you drive yourself crazy, how do you want to succeed? It goes back. It's like a process. It's like a vicious cycle. If you overthink a lot of things, then the overthinking eventually turns into negative thoughts, and it goes back into that cycle, like, the first 4 steps. So stop overthinking things. Take it as they come and start addressing it, and don't be afraid of creating a change. When the change happens, accept it, embrace it, take what you want and get rid of what you don't want, disregard it, and you'll see a change in your life. Number 6, stop comparing yourself with others. Now, this was a little different. For example, one of the things that I do with my coaching students is I tell them, look, if you want to be the best, you have to study the best. So there are certain similarities that I may have with like Tony Robbins, or I may have with Les Brown or Omar Perry or whoever, my friends or people that I've studied throughout the years. However, I'll see what it is that I like and what it is I don't like, and just be happy for who I am and be happy for what it is that I'm bringing or what my message brings. And if someone has something that they're doing a little better, or they have a bigger house, or they have a bigger family, or whatever the case is, you know what? I'm happy for them. Be happy for those people, because a lot of times, for the most part, it didn't come easy to them. They just worked a little harder than you did. And that's what I've realized. So until I don't get to where it is that I'm going, and I'm not there yet, I'm going to work hard every day to achieve those dreams. And I never compare myself to others. There's similarities, and there's certain things that people compare me to, and they say, you're a lot like this, and your speech is a lot like that, and Bert, this is awesome, and this is great. That's great. I take it as a compliment. However, every now and then, whenever there's a thought process that I may be comparing myself to another person, then I put myself and say, you know what? There's no need to compare. 2 things. I never envy anyone. I'm so happy when people succeed. That's one of people asked me the other day. I received an email actually today. And a gentleman said, why is it that you do what you do? Why do you travel the world and do what you do? It looks like you're always tired and you're doing so much work. And it was kind of a difficult question, because, I can give you the fluff version about, I just want to save the world. That's besides the point. But that's not what it was. My answer was because I love seeing other people succeed. I love seeing other people achieve their dreams. And as crazy as that sounds, because I know how good it feels when you achieve certain things in your life, when you get to a certain level. And your level may be different than your neighbor's level or your family member's level. There's no right or wrong. It's your level. But when you see other people succeed, at least for me, that's the main reason I do what I do and the main reason I travel the world, because if one word, one phrase, one thing makes that person a better person, or it gives them the drive or the potential they need to get to that next level in their life, then I've done my job. So what I want you to do is I want you to stop comparing yourself to others, because you are greatness. And I always say that in all my sessions, in all my seminars, I truly believe that you are a perfect human being. And you just need to tap into that potential that you have to live the life that you deserve and that God wanted you to have. And people will always try to challenge you, but it's really up to you. So if you're with me and you're going after that, and you can feel the drive and the passion, raise your hands. I want to make sure you guys are with me. Good. Number 7, surrounding yourself with negativity. Now, this is not only negative people, it's negative situations. And when things happen, I'm not telling you to run away from them, but take a step back and analyze it. Analyze, is this really a good place for me? Is this really where I should be? Is this where my time is being valued? Are people just taking it for granted? And it's not that you're better than someone else, it's just that your time is valuable. You can't put a price to the moments that we have in this place we call Earth. It's counted for. Since the day you came out and you were born, the timer hasn't stopped. And it won't pause until the end of your time, whenever that time comes. And for some people, it comes way too early. So what I'm telling you is negativity. Not only get rid of the negative talk and get rid of the negative people and get rid of all, that's fine, but it's also look to make sure that sometimes you think you're doing the right things and you're in the right place, and it takes you a while. Sometimes it can take you a month, a year, 10 years to realize, you know what, this place wasn't really all that positive. And what I want you to do is I want you to wake up, become aware, to make sure that where you are right now, this moment, and I'm not just talking about Mastermind, is the place that you need to be. Where you are as a person, your spiritual connection with your higher power, whether it's the universe or God. For me, it happens to be God. Are you at the right place? Are you doing the right things? Or are you overwhelmed with a lot of negativity? Because guess what? This is the perfect time for you to shut it off. This is the perfect time for you to disconnect from the negativity. You got it? You with me? Raise your hands. I want to make sure. Those are the 7 steps that I wanted to share with you today. So here, I'm going to give you 7 things you can do. Number 1, realize you can always say no. If someone doesn't make you feel right, or they ask you a question and you really just, whenever you do something, whether, it's a project at home or, just say no. It's okay to say no. I mean, don't let it become the most powerful word you have, but it's okay to every now and then, you say no. And you're going to shock the other person. I'll give you an example. I pretty much can ask LJ, Charles, to do anything, and he'll do everything for us. I mean, he's like the son I never wanted. No, I'm only kidding. He's like my son. He's like my friend. He's like everything involved into one. And those of you that have seen me traveling the world, you get to meet him. He's a great, awesome person. And he'll say yes, 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 but I can see through him. I can read him. This is what I do for a living. And he's saying yes, and he doesn't want to say no to disappoint me. But what he's doing is disappointing himself. Now, LJ, if you're watching this, I don't want you to say no to me. But at the end of the day, what I'm telling you is, yeah, don't take it too far. Everything in life you should do with balance, but it's okay to say no every now and then. And if a person doesn't understand, they'll ask you why. And you'll be surprised how great your communication skills will become by saying no every now and then. And someone may ask you why. And when they do that, you can have a conversation. And they may not understand that that's the way you were feeling. Does that make sense? Embrace change. And I said this earlier. Make sure to embrace change. Change is going to happen, whether it's inevitable, whether you like it or you don't, or it makes you feel uncomfortable. Some people love change. What's going to happen? So when it happens, embrace it. There's a reason why it's happening. And if you don't get it, I guarantee you, you're going to repeat it over and over again until you finally get it. Number 3, live in the present. You know, remember what I told you. The future hasn't happened yet. The past already happened. Learn from the past and live in the now. Number 4, put a positive spin on your thoughts. When you're having these negative thoughts, you know, the negative talks within yourself, put a spin to it. I guarantee you for the next 21 days, in fact, you know what? Not even 21 days. For the next 7 days, I want to challenge you. Whenever you have a negative thought of something that's going to happen or has happened, and you're having these thoughts of, man, I don't know what I should do. It doesn't make me. And if you really become aware, you start paying attention to the details, you will find something positive in that change. You know, you'll find a positive spin to the negative thought that you were going through. Number 5, stop waiting for perfection. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist at heart. I like everything to be done perfect. I do my due diligence. I cross my T's, dot my I's. I go back in every production that we do, whether it's I'm on stage or video production, whatever, depending on one of our companies, whatever it is that I'm working on, I get to do it at 110%. My mom used to tell me 1,000%. And at the end of the day, I've realized that I've kind of slowed down a little bit on that. And I realized that if I do it at 1,000% every single time, it's not always going to be done. So I don't wait for perfections to happen. I either make it happen or I just get it out there. Because a lot of times your perfection may be way too good for the average person. And they're okay with what it is you're going to give them. But get it done. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time for you to do things, the perfect time is now. If you have any questions, make sure right now is the perfect time to ask me any questions. We can go live. Valerie's there, so make sure that you go ahead and get your Q&A questions. Do you have any questions, Val? My device, my microphone, internet unstable. It's all falling apart. You know, technology, you're working with a lot of variables that we have no control over, and it is what it is. And my goal is to make sure that I give you the best product at every single time and the best presentation, but things will happen. So my question is, when you have situations happen to you like this or similar ones to this that I'm going through right now, how do you handle it? I really want you to ask that question to yourself. How do you handle it? Do you really embrace it, or do you just flip out and say, I knew this was going to happen to me? And this is what's important, is to be able to, you know, go ahead and this is hilarious. We're trying to get this going. Well, you see, we're able to handle it. It's like we didn't set this up for you. It just happened. So number 6, complete less. Make sure to compete less with others. Appreciate more. Stop comparing yourself with other people and competing all the time. Appreciate more. Appreciate what you have. Appreciate what you've become as a person. That would be number 6. And number 7, be the positive person you want to see in the world. It's easier to say that you're positive. It's easier to go around and telling the world, you know, I'm a positive person. I think positive thoughts. I do motivational. I'm a motivational speaker. You know, that's one thing. However, the difficult thing is to practice what you preach. Do you really practice what you preach? Are you really that positive person? You know, what is it you want to see? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What do you want to see when you meet someone else? If you want to be treated great, you got to be treating people great and not judging people, not assuming that they're a certain way, and just make sure that you embrace. And then let me tell you, one of the things I do is people connect with me all the time because they can tell how much I truly love people. I love what I do. I love people, and people that look at me on social media or they see me when I, you know, travel the world, they're like, man, you're so lucky. And I don't believe in luck. I believe luck is when preparation meets opportunity. The more prepared you are, the luckier you'll be. I've created my luck, and I create it every day. I study every day. I do webinars like this every day. And sometimes I'm not the one doing the webinar. I'm attending. I just did an event right now. We just came from a cruise where we had about 10, 11 speakers. And I don't think I missed one of their sessions. And some of these speakers have only been speaking for 1 or 2 years. The day that you think you've learned everything is the day you've lost everything. So I'm always working on improving myself, learning, or confirming something that I may already know. So with that being said, I think we have one person that has a question.
You're having a great time tonight. The gremlins are out in force.
Okay, full force. How you doing?
Awesome. So I have a question.
Yes.
What is your best tool for keeping the negative mind from repeatedly trying to come in and make a comment?
Well, one of my tools that I do is, and by the way, can you state your name and where you're calling from?
Sure. Elizabeth Kipp, calling from Lawrence, Kansas.
Because one of my favorite seminars that I saw on the cruise was Elizabeth's, the tapping seminar. And there's a video coming out promoting it, and you guys have to stay tuned because it's amazing. So I wanted to say that, and that's so important, because even though I had never seen that session that you did, I use a lot of those things, but I call them a little different things. Like number one, I create a state change. If I'm having these negative thoughts, and I know that it usually happens when I sit in this place, you know, in my office or in my room, I'll immediately change the place. Because if you change your environment, your thoughts will change. If you sit in a certain place, you will create the same consistency and the same emotions will come in, which is part of what I saw you do, which was magic. You know, it's what happened. And the other thing is, I pray. You know, I pray to, you know, my God every morning and right before I go to sleep. And it's not so much asking as much as I think. And believe it or not, that's something I learned from my mom. And it's huge because it makes sure that I start my day positive and I end my day positive. So it's hard that I have all these negative, you know, things happening in my mind. So, I mean, those are just two tools that I kind of use. And, you know, they may not work for everyone, but they work for me.
It's important because you have I know you have a toolkit. Yeah. And I work with people in chronic pain, and they have all kinds of issues with negative mind. My negative mind is very active when I first wake up in the morning. So the first thing I do is hit my knees and start breathing, and I've got a whole process I do. And I think part of that negativity is just shallow breathing all night, and I just not well oxygenated.
Yes.
And also the other thing is when I get on my knees first thing in the morning and I do my breathing, I'm not just oxygenating my system, I'm surrendering to a power greater than myself, and I'm putting the ego exactly where it belongs, down.
Well, you know, Elizabeth, that we have you, I don't think they've scheduled yet, but you're already on the line that we're going to have an interview, because awesome. I want my viewers to be able to see some of the things that you do and the tools that you use, which is great. But it's a similar thing. You know, you do one thing, and if you look at it, it's more or less the same thing. You know, we're doing a prayer session, we're doing a meditation session, we're doing really an acknowledgement on who we are, and to wake up. Life is such a beautiful thing when a person chooses to live, not when they choose they're a victim and things are happening to them, because the more they say, they're going to attract themselves. And you know this.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for asking. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Same here. You can see how people that take actions are the ones that get the life that they deserve. We're going to go ahead. The second part of this session is where we bring in a guest speaker. And if you're a guest speaker, it's because you're a member. And I always tell the members, this is different than an interview. James has been here before, and he's done his first speech one time, and I asked him to do it again. Why? Because you get better every single time. This exercise, because it's really an exercise, is where a person comes in and shares either a test or a mess they've had in their life. And we've all had a test or a mess as part of a testimony or part of a message. However, all they have is 5 minutes. And some people say, well, 5 minutes is not enough. And you're absolutely right. It's easy to speak for 5 hours, 10 hours, 2 days. Believe me, I love doing that. But when you have to do a 5-minute presentation, and it's a direct proportion of what it is you're doing in your life, is a real difficult thing that happens. So James like, well, you know, I already did it. Should I do it again? I'm like, yeah, because so many other things have happened in his life. So, Mr. Ito.
Yes, man.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me give you the floor.
Okay. I am. Do I got the floor?
Yeah, you got the floor.
Okay. I am James C. Ito, Senior from New York. Inspirational James coming to you live. Hashtag come together. Well, Bert, I'm telling you, it was amazing how you just did that. And that, what you just did, just told my whole life. Everything that you said, I had to do in the beginning of my sobriety. I had to, one part was, I'll just give a couple of quick parts real quick. One part was, don't compare yourself to anybody, which I used to do all the time. When I'm at the beginning of my sobriety, I used to, oh man, I wish I could be like this. Oh, I wish I could have that car. Like, I had to stop doing that. Two, I had to tell myself that I can do things and I can make myself do and be better than what I was. I got myself to a point that I was like, I don't get angry no more. I don't turn around and be really like I used to be. I had to take all that negativity and just throw it out the window. I had to get myself a sponsor. That was the hardest one for me because I had a hard time dealing with men. You know, I didn't believe in calling another man every day. I call a woman quick, fast, in a hurry. Yo, baby, what's up? But a man, just to tell him that I'm doing nothing, that wasn't the idea of me. But as I kept going through the process of with AA and I kept going, kept calling, I got used to it. My sponsor, like, you know, I call him and, hey, what's up, man? You know, I'm feeling like this. Well, I'm doing okay. Even I just called my sponsor to say, listen, man, I ain't nothing happening today. And that's it. And I hung up. But I went through the whole process of getting myself where I'm at now on Inspirational James. It took me through everything. When I first started out, I started out with going through a program, finished the program with flying colors. I ran a sober house with 20 guys in it. And about, I think about 3 out of that 20 guys stayed sober. One guy's still here with me today. It's still sober and still looks up to me. I taught myself to throw everything away. Everything, all my old friends, all my, even relatives, I stopped seeing them and I had to put positive things in my life. I had to put people that think positive and not drink. I didn't know how to be myself without having a drink or a drug. I had to start all over again. So I did that and I learned it. And then when I got that, then I'm like, okay, now where I go? Then I'm like, okay, wow, you know what I can do? I can make myself better by finding positive people. That's when I came across you. And I said, whoa, Bert, and that Mastermind, let me see what this is about. I got myself so happy in the mornings now, so beautiful in the morning. Even when everybody knows my wife, Lisa, she's not the positive person in the world, but she's my Lisa. I love her. And when she starts with the negative stuff, I said, sweetie, listen, let's go back and let's do this all over again. And we'll do it. And then she'll come up, you know what? Yeah, I got mad all for nothing. That's right. You know why? Because we have to put in ourselves when we wake up in the morning, when I'm doing my show, she keeps me on point on my show. Just like how they keep you on point on your show, she keeps me on point on my show. She tell me, James, you know what? Just think of positive. Don't play that hard that rock. I mean that rap that with all the cussing. Keep it down to a roar. Sometimes I get into myself when I'm in there. I'm not me. Okay, not even my phone telling me. But the beautiful thing is, I love doing what I do. Now, this month, I got 2 things real quick. The watchers that's gonna be on my show for the talent show, please come. You can talk and ask me. My watch even telling me what to do. I love y'all all. Thank y'all for that little bit of time. Oh man, that is not enough time. You need to give me some more time. I at least need at least an hour. But thank you for letting me talk my story. Okay. Thank you for letting me tell my story.
James, that was great. Number one, you did like 10 times better than your first one. You did you're so much more comfortable in front of the camera compared to the way you were before. It's just you can see the growth. The only thing I would have done is I would have put more light in front of you so they can see your beautiful face better. Then you look a little too dark, and that's from the light being behind you. You see that? There you go. You see? So that's the only thing I would have done. Your voice fluctuation was strong. I can feel your energy. Sometimes I might have gotten lost in your message, but your energy was so strong that you would bring me right back in. So that's great. I mean, it's amazing because you do your shows on radio, and you're ready for TV, man. But you did great, James, and I'm so proud of you. And I just love how you knew you had about 30 seconds left, and you had to promote the show. And that's what it's all about. That's what Mastermind is about. It's about people promoting and helping each other make their dreams a reality.
Bert, I learned from you, man. I watch you and I listen to you and all that. I see the energy come from you, and I said, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And that's what I do. And I'm like, I get on the air and I say to myself, you know what? What would Bert do in this situation? I had the same thing with you. My thing wasn't working right. I was like, baby, should I shut it off now? And I was like, oh, calm down. Just restart everything. And I did. And then it came out to be a good show. So
great. It came out great. I know you had a tough story, and a lot of it you didn't share this time like you did your last time. When was that turning point? Because I know that a couple of times you wanted to give up drugs and you wanted to get a good path. There was that one time. What was that one turning point that said, that's it, and I'm going to change? What was it?
One thing that kept sticking in my mind, my brother just died, my older brother. He's only a year older than me. He just died. And only thing kept coming in my mind is he always wanted to see me sober. And when I went into the dry house, the detox house, I told myself, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I kept saying to myself, I can't see myself without a drink. I can't say it. And then I said, no, you know what? It's just a feeling. Let me do this. And it just came natural after a while, man. It just, I think positive. Like you say, think positive all the time. Stay away from the negative. I didn't hang around with the normal people that I usually hang around with. People hiding in the corners, stealing the door, whatever. I stuck to the message of the guy who was running the meeting. And that's what I kept my mind on to. And then I kept saying, things was just happening. It was happening real fast for me. I mean, like 1 minute I'm at the sober house. Then I'm like, okay, I'm at the last minute of the program. I'm like, okay, where I'm gonna go from here, God? Then I got on my knees, prayed to him, and next minute I know, a guy came up to me and asked me to run a sober house.
There's a big chance, because I've taken the course myself for knowledge base. And I know the first step is acceptance of responsibility. A person cannot change until they're ready to make the change themselves. And I love it. 12 steps are extremely powerful. But also a big major part of it where there had relapse. Have you had relapse?
I had numerous relapse. It didn't come to me overnight. I had numerous. I've been trying for years. At one point, I just did drugs. I said, okay, you know what? I can do alcohol. You know, alcohol ain't drugs. And I find out I can't do alcohol because I drink alcohol, then I'm going to want drugs. And then I'm going to want something bigger. And then I'm like, okay, the first year was the hardest. But then after that, I had people there with me. I have a surrogate family, I call them. I'm the only chocolate in the whole crowd, but they love me. They love me for who I am. Even when I fell, this girl, I couldn't believe this girl did this. She came into a crack-infested area to pull me out of there. And I said, this skinny girl can do this. And she got this much pride. And she told me one thing that when she, I'm about to cry, I'm sorry. She told me one thing that stuck by me. She told me, she said, you do not love yourself, but you know what? I'm going to love you until you love yourself. And that stuck with me for a long time, man, a long time. Wow. And I loved it. And that was the whole thing that I really enjoyed doing, because those was the persons that really stuck by me was my surrogate family.
I mean, I've seen your family, and I know you for several years now. And since I met you, you haven't had a relapse at all. All I've seen you is grow and grow and grow. Now your grandson loves you more than life itself. And it's funny because you guys are opposite. You know, you're 6'7", black man. He's a little 2-foot man, white man. And it's adorable. You guys are like positive. I mean, totally, you know, left and right. But the love there is so real. I mean, it's an amazing thing. I've seen your family get together and closer. And to me, that's success. People ask me, you know, wealth, Bert, is, you know, because I tell people, you want to be wealthy? And people are like, immediately they go right after the money. To me, wealth is about balance. You, my friend, are a wealthy human being. You have an amazing life, and you have an amazing family. And as long as you keep doing what you're doing, sticking yourself in places like this, and then doing your Inspirational James radio show, and not giving up, you're going to be a multi-millionaire by the time you die. Why? Because you're living your dream. So you're doing great. Let me bring up, who do we have, Lisa? We have Lisa.
Oh, God.
My name is Lisa Moran Ito, and I am from Long Island, New York. Okay, yeah, you look at the smile on Bert's face. You can just see it. Question for Inspirational James. There was a question that you asked me 5.5 years ago, and I still haven't answered it. Now I'm going to ask you that question from now, from 5.5 years. Where do you see yourself right now, 5 years from now? Because right now your show is doing awesome. You have 108 followers right now, which I think it's awesome from where you started months ago. And now you're doing an awesome job with that, and I love the way you do it. Bert is right so far. You see that you could hear it in your voice just tonight alone.
Yes.
Just tonight alone, from the first time you've done this show. So where do you see yourself 5 years from right now?
Where do I see myself 5 years from now? You know what? I ain't gonna say what you told me. I ain't gonna have a whole lot of money. No. Me 5 years from now, I want my show to grow more. I really would love to work and get my podcast a little better. I want to grow from the podcast and make my own radio show. I'm hoping 5 years from now, I have my own actual radio show doing it. Because, I mean, I love doing it. I mean, I don't have all the material to do it, but I love doing it, and I love helping people. I just like people to know who I am, because, you know, that's one thing that I love sharing is about myself. And I'm not afraid to share about myself, you know, because a lot of people think that, well, you know what? He's an alcoholic. He don't know what he's talking about. No, I'm not just an alcoholic. I am a human being, and I love doing what I do.
Great answer, James.
That was awesome. Thank you. And I will be right there the whole time with you. You're doing an awesome job. I love you. Bert, thanks. Have a great night.
People will always test you. Have you really changed? Are you really a different person? They don't know what's inside of you. They don't know what you're going through. And to me knowing you for this long, I've seen the change. I see the change. In fact, I haven't been able to talk to you for a while. I've been traveling and I haven't been able to attend your show. And now I saw you tonight, man, and you're on, man. You're on.
Let me tell you something, Bert. With the change thing, they still, like you said in your show, there's always going to be somebody out there that don't believe in you. I have a whole lot of that out there. I have people out there saying that I'm going to go, they're just waiting for me to fall. But I'm going to prove them wrong because, I feel good doing this.
That's it.
What I want to do. And like you said, there's always going to be haters. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. How come he got this thing? Well, how come, listen.
Hey, as long as they're haters, that means you're succeeding.
You always say that too. You always say that.
Yeah, we have Felicia has a question, but she's on the phone, so she can't get on. Thank you for surviving and being such a great inspiration, James.
Wow, thank you. I tried to. She's Felicia. Aaliyah.
No, Felicia.
Felicia. Oh, well. Thank you, Felicia. You know, I'm just trying, and that's all I can do is just give people hope, man. If I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it. That's out there that needs to want to do it. You know.
Yeah, you know it's Felicia Reed that she went on the cruise with us, and she was on your show the other.
Okay, now I know. Okay, got it now.
All right.
Listen, I had a brain fart there. You know.
All right, we have one more question. But anyways, man, just you keep doing what you're doing. You keep pushing. Even those days that you're tired and you're not motivated, you know, you go back to one of these replays. Get your mood on. Get back into the state, and then just go and do it. And eventually, I mean, look what happened to us tonight. Anything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and it still came out to be a great show. When you see the replay, you're gonna say, "Wow, this is amazing." And again, why? Because we didn't give up. We didn't give in to technology. We didn't give in to the things that were happening. We didn't go and turn into negative thoughts. We're all here trying to survive to make it happen. We all cared about each other, and we put all our energies together to make sure that this session and this interview went forward in the right way. And look what has happened. It's great.
My name is Andrew Orchan, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. And I've been watching James for a long time, especially James with Lisa. And today I didn't feel like I had a question, but like because I've been watching James and Lisa make it happen all the time, and I just wanted to like, this might be unrelated, but my question was like, how have you been able to like manage, you know, your relationship, you know, with Lisa, and also be able to keep on pushing? Like, how has your relationship with Lisa helped you to push forward in your life journey?
Well, very carefully, man. Very carefully. Yeah, we get into some really serious stuff because sometimes she have to really get on me to do it. Because sometimes I do feel like giving up, and she's like, "No, I'm not gonna let you give up." Sometimes when I feel like, because we still now, I still have that same urge to drink, to go out and hang out. And, you know, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm putting all my money into this. I can go and hang out with such and such. Lisa turn around and say, James, if you do all that, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when you come back? I was like, but nothing. No, you lose me, you lose your car, you lose your house, you lose this. And I say, well, you know, I worked too hard to get to all this. I'm not going to lose all this. We got to work together. With Lisa, we sit down and we'll talk, and we're just paying a lot. Sometimes we'll get in a yelling match, but at the end, we'll sit there, all right, let's just talk this out and then move on with it.
That's great. That's great, because I know, like, you know, like your significant other, you know, plays a really important role in your success or your failure. So, you know, I've always seen her pushing you everywhere, and I'm like, like really amazed. And
thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the love and support that you have towards what we do and our team. And you keep making it happen, man. Keep making your dream happen. We're going to support you too. And it's what it's all about. So we're proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Tell Lisa we send her our love. This is what Mastermind is all about. It's about growing together. It does not matter what level of success you are. We're all the same. We're all the same human beings, and we're here to connect and make this world a better place. So again, everyone, my name is Bert Oliva. And remember to live life and don't let life live you. And I will see you guys next Wednesday.
Register online and join us today for all new live interviews and weekly topics only at themastermindcircle.com.